Alright, welcome back everybody. It's good to see you guys. It's Laser Shen, and the setup is a little bit different this time because I'm away from home right now. I'm on a laptop, visiting some relatives, but the show must go on. And so, they don't stop dropping IDs just because I'm leaving the home. I'm gonna record this really quickly, the Yield My Flesh to Claim Their Bones rerun stuff for Ishmael, as well as Heathcliff has come out. Two gorgeous IDs. I'm going to go ahead and review these skills. A little bit different format as well, because for these, I'm changing these now to just reading through the first time and reacting to what I read instead of trying to summarize them. More of a discussion-based kind of video. And then once we actually see the values, once I can see the numbers, then we can discuss whether the ID is going to be good or not. But without the number values, it's really hard to tell. Sometimes the IDs look really great on paper, and then we get the numbers and they're complete dog. So, aka what I'm talking about to you is via Great Sword Sinclair. But let's see. Let's look at these IDs. Firstly, we'll start with the Heathcliff one because he is the man of the hour. Gorgeous. Look at that deep V line as well. Absolutely. for the gaze of the viewer type skin. Kurokumo Clan Wakashu 3-star Heathcliff. Alright, starting out strong. It is the Kurokumo tech, so you'll see a lot of lenticular stuff, you'll see a lot of cloud, based skills. So he is the thunder guy, as am I, so we'll see lenticular rend. It is a 2-coin wrath skill. Gain coin power every X bleed. We've seen this before on, I believe, the captain version of Kurokumo Gregor. I think he gets +2 clash power at 7, which is not exactly coin power, but he gets like +1 coin power on his 3rd skill as well. We might see this gaining at maybe like 6 bleed to cap out, and then capping out like at 2 or 3. So this could probably roll around somewhere between guesstimating, 12 to 16 or maybe 14 to 18, depending on what they give us here. It's hard to say, but this will give us defense power up next turn as well on use. So he's going to take a little bit of punishment, it seems. It seems like all of the Kurokumo guys, there is some kind of scrappiness to these kits, especially from the trailer we saw with Ishmael giving them what seemed to be unbreakable coins. We might see in a bit here as well. But first coin inflicts bleed, fantastic. Second coin inflicts bleed as well. Could be a couple of bleed potency, nothing bad. Offense level down is not bad as well for the second hit. Just a little bit of cherry on top gravy. So overall, a pretty nice standard little S1. S2 is going to be the Pride skill, 2-coin Pride Storm Cloud. Nice, very cool. It is the straight stab into the the slash through into the overhead. I think is this skill, and this one is the big overhead, the gorgeous overhead swing. But anyway, gain coin power for every X bleed on target. Really cool. So same, he's gonna get a lot of benefits for bleed stacking, it seems. Defense power up as well, so he's going to be a little bit tankier next turn as well. And then inflicts bleed and slash fragility on the heads hit. Okay, very cool. Slash fragility is really good. I like fragility as a debuff. Fragility in general is one of my favorite debuffs in the game. Really versatile, since it applies to a lot of people and not just for like a faction specific type of thing or offense level, defense level down. Slash fragility in itself is really cool. So, inflicts bleed, inflicts slash fragility on heads, which is really nice, and then bleed count on the S2. Nice, okay. Yeah, right now, as it stands, with just what we have so far in terms of bleed IDs and what we can dip into, so Blood Fiends plus Ring guys, and, I guess you can count also Rhino as well as the Ryosho ID as well. But what we have so far for bleed IDs, we're missing some count application. We have a lot of potency application, count not so much, and so being able to keep up count is what I'm looking for right now for these new IDs. But he applies count on the second hand as well, with attack power down. So he has an offense level down, he has a slash fragility, attack power down. He kind of feels like Captain Gregor in that way, where he has a lot of different debuff application, which is nice for somebody who will hit a lot. And then his 3rd skill is S3, his big power nuke, the gorgeous overhead swing. Really reminds me of like Samurai Sam show, you know, with like the way his attacks go, big huge swings with like the cloud motif. Gorgeous. Thunder Cleave. Gains coin power for every X bleed on target. We can probably see this rolling like this one rolling like 20 something, and this one rolling like maybe a 30 at max. Gain Columbus Wall next turn. Defense level up as well on use. And Clash Win. So this one needs combat start, so you just get it combat start next turn, so you don't even have to use the skill per se. Once the combat starts, you'll get the buff next turn as well. And then on Clash Win, you'll gain the Dark Cloud Blade next turn. I'm excited to see what these are all about as well. But inflicts bleed, final coin deals more damage. Nice. Inflicts slash, final coin does more damage. And then the big new third hit, which is this overhead swing, deal more damage for every X type of negative effect on the target. Okay, so more debuffs is good. So you actually might see him being run with somebody who applies a lot of debuffs, as well as any other, you know, even outside the realm of Kurokumo. But inside Kurokumo, I would say his best friend right now is probably Gregor, because Gregor applies a ton of debuffs, if I recall correctly. I think he applies offense level down for one. He applies power down. He applies, I mean, they're kind of double dipping into the same thing. He applies coin, plus coin drop, I believe, on the enemy as well. So he has some cool stuff. And then with Heathcliff's slash fragility, as well as some of his other stuff as well, it's a lot of debuffs as well. And you can probably see Egos doing some debuffs to increase as well. But overall, really cool. And he has a lot of final coin power increase, and then the big slash. So this is his huge nuke damage. I can see this rolling, you know, upwards of 200-300 damage very easily. Let's see. Now, defense. His slash counter, Clashable Guard, comes with a little counter move. It is a 1 coin lust. If Kurokumo Ishmael is on the field, turn all the coins into unbreakable coins. So this 1 coin gets maybe there's another extra coins in there somewhere. Or like in the future, there might be IDs that add coins to skills. That would be really cool. This skill gains final power upon clash lose. So you actually might want to lose this clash even. And like you get some benefits regardless if it's clash win or lose, because regardless you're still hitting back as well with the unbreakable coin counter. And you also don't like deal 0 damage, because usually when you lose clash, unbreakable coins, although they still go off, they set the clash power to 1, and so the damage output is much less. But if this skill gains coin power, final power upon clash lose, you'll see this doing at least something, right? And then my fat head is in the way. Let me quickly move my fat head a little bit to the side. Apologies. Did not mean to do that. Okay, cool. And let's see. Inflicts the bleed, really cool. This unit has Dark Cloud Blade, reuse coin once. Okay, so this is why it says all coins turn into unbreakable coins. If he has the buff Dark Cloud Blade, you get to reuse the coin once, and then if you have Battle Ready, so this could be this is a 3 coin skill all of a sudden. If you have the Dark Cloud Blade buff and the Battle Ready buff on yourself, and inflicts bleed every time. So really nice. Gorgeous little counter as well. You might just see him using counter a lot as well. I think the bleed count is really good on S2. The S1 is like so, but if this skill you have Ishmael on the field, you might just be wanting to use this a lot. Actually, applies a lot of bleed. And then on let's see, if this unit has Columbus Wall, so if he had used S3 the turn before to gain Columbus Wall, unconditionally activate all reuse effects on this coin skill. So even if you don't have Dark Cloud Blade or you don't have Battle Ready, if you had used S3 last turn, you will still get 3 coins. This becomes a 3 coin skill unconditionally. Oh wow, that's a really great clashable counter. A really great, I mean, rules of the backstreets. We've been waiting for rules of the backstreets for a while, and it delivered. Take a look at Dark Cloud Blade. When there's 2 or more allied Kurokumo identities in the field, including this unit. So you could literally pop this off with just him and Ishmael on the field, because that becomes your 2. Gain Dark Cloud Blade. Okay, attacks against enemies that in this turn use defense skills or were at max HP before attacking, you do more damage. Oh, Dark Cloud Blade? He gains Dark Cloud Blade next turn on Clash Win. Oh, that's really cool. So after using, you bust out an S3, and if enemies were at full HP, so you're attacking a full HP enemy, or they're using a defensive skill against you, you will deal more damage when you beat them senseless. If an enemy attacked and dealt damage against an ally, use skill 1 to attack. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is what we saw in the thing. So where Ishmael got a hit, and then he decided to just play out of turn to use a free skill 1. But only when he has the buff. So you actually want to make sure he always has Dark Cloud Blade up. Otherwise, without Dark Cloud Blade buff, he won't be using this counter or this cut-in. I don't even know what to call it other than maybe cut-in. I think cut-in is a good word because it injects a skill 1 into the turn order. Really, really cool. If the enemy killed another unit, or if the said ally's HP is less than X after the enemy attacked, use an unopposed attack against the attacker. Oh, with rules of the back streets instead. So if it hits an ally that's low or kills an ally, you will actually just bust out a 3-hit combo. Because if you use skill 3, you will gain Columbus Wall, and then if you clash when you gain Dark Cloud Blade. And so if the enemy hits an ally that's low, you'll bust out a unconditional 3-coin usage of rules of the back streets on an enemy that is uncontested. That is gorgeous, gorgeous passive. And then when he's on the bench, we'll take a look as well. Impale. 1 ally with the fastest speed against enemies that use defense skills or max HP before attacking this turn, do more damage. Okay, so your fastest guy does some big extra damage against people who are using defense skills against them. So this is a defense skill buster. There are actually a lot of enemies, I will say, that will evade or defend. Even, what comes to mind even recently is the new boss, the Hohenheim boss. He has phases where he only uses defensive skills. And so you'll see, the Heathcliff busting his balls. I mean, granted, he's not a really hard boss per se, but if you're having trouble or, you want to use a new team against him, the bleed team, Heathcliff will bust their balls with this Impale passive, and also just in general with Dark Cloud Blade passive as well. You gain Slash power up as well as inflicts bleed on hit with the Slash skill. So you get even more bleed potency application. Even on the skills that don't apply, like this one that doesn't apply bleed, you'll still apply bleed with Dark Cloud Blade. That is a gorgeous, gorgeous passive. Fantastic. Battle Ready. I'm not sure, he doesn't give Battle Ready for himself. See, he has something that has Battle Ready in it, but he doesn't give himself Battle Ready with any skills or passives. So it seems maybe Battle Ready might be an Ishmael skill, because right now he doesn't have a way to give it to himself. Bleed potency and counts inflicted with this skill plus X. Wait. He gains additional potency and count application when he has Battle Ready, plus Slash power up and Slash damage up. I mean, this is just all around really, really gorgeous. And then Columbus Wall, gain defense skill, final power. Oh, so you really want to just hit all the buffs and then use skill 3, get all your buffs, and then use skill 4 and show them the rules of the back streets. Or the defensive skill, not skill 4, skill defense, to like show them the rules of backstreets with crazy, crazy final power. And also, your Columbus Wall will make your injected rules of backstreets as well really strong as well. Gain defense skill power up. This effect expires at the turn end or after the following attack ends. So you get one big nuke with rules of the backstreets. Okay. So, Heathcliff overview is really great bleed, a little bit of a bleed count application. We might see more on the Ishmael, but so I'm not worried too much so far. Oh, he gains Battle Ready. Oh, he gives us Battle Ready if there are 3 or more are defeated. I didn't see this part. Hold on. When Kurokumo ally is defeated, gain Slash power up for the duration of this encounter. When 3 more allies are defeated, gain Battle Ready. Okay, so Battle Ready is not the one that he's going to get usually. However, with Columbus, with his Columbus Wall up, he will get all these coins regardless. But you'll see him apply a lot of bleed if allies are dead. You might actually, it might actually be beneficial for you to run. If you do run a full Kurokumo team, it is a cool little extra stuff. Similar to how Bamboo Hat Kim gains extra damage when his team is dying as well. The Kurokumo clan seems to also have a similar mechanic. But overall, this Wakashu Heathcliff seems really great. Overall, for bleed application, a lot of debuffs as well, and overall, just yeah, it's a gorgeous character. Even without seeing the numbers, I can already tell he has a lot of really cool mechanics, injecting S1s, injecting his Rose back straights. Overall, the playstyle is going to be, you're going to want to press S3, and then you're going to either want to use defensive skill, or if an ally is low, just let it like ring off with the rules of the back streets to deal some big damage with your Columbus Cloud passive and Dark Cloud Blade. So really cool. Now, Kurokumo Captain Ishmael. This is the one we've all been waiting for. Okay, and you can see her skills, yes. Ink over, yes. Her skills are all named after. Very cool. If you're a big Ruina fan, you're going to get a kick out of this for sure. But let's take a look. Clean up. Gain coin power for every bleed. So it seems like these two both gain coin power on every bleed. I think only Kurokumo Captain Gregor had that before. Everyone else... Oh no, the Kurokumo Ryoshu also gained damage. I think if you had a certain number of bleed count. Or bleed potency, something like that, but not the same way as this. Gaining coin power on this 2-coin envy skill inflicts bleed, inflicts defense, offense level down. So yeah, some really cool debuffs. So you can run these two together in an injected package. I mean, right now you could probably run these two, and then actually we'll talk about team comps at the end as well. But sharpened blade as well, really cool. 2-coin pride skill, gain coin power for every X put on target, deal more damage for every X type of negative effect on the target. Combat starts. Oh, this is already do more damage on this S2. Apply damage up to X other fastest ally Kurokumo clan. So basically Heathcliff, if you're going to use these two together. So Heathcliff gets a damage up for just your Ishmael using S2, really cool. Or if you decide to use like Honglu, Raja, Wakashu, Ryoshu, or Captain Gregor as well. When there are X-allied identities on the field, including this unit, applies damage up to a Y other fastest Kurokumos. Okay, so if you have like, that probably says 2 or 3X, 3+ allied Kurokumo clan. So if you run, her, Gregor, or her, Ishmael, the Heathcliff, and one other one, you probably get this buff as well. Pretty good. On hit, inflicts bleed. Heads hit, inflicts slash fragility. Nice. When there are probably 3 or more on the field. Includes this unit, inflicts fragile instead. Wow, just fragile in general. On heads hit, if you have 3 Kurokumos, you just 3 or 4 Kurokumos, something like that, you inflict fragile instead of just slash fragility, which is really nice as well. Because I do believe Wakashu Ryoshu has a pierce instead, and then Captain Gregor has 1 bludgeon, 1 blunt damage. So this is gonna be really good. I mean, granted, other Kurokumos like Honglu and Raja are all slash, but if you're running a team with other characters as well, for instance the Blood Fiends, because they all have bleed synergy, you may decide that this fragile is really good, or you may want to run 3 Kurokumos. Oh, okay. Inflicts bleed count on the S2 as well. Nice, fantastic. Slash power up next turn, fantastic. And then her S3 is Ink Over, the iconic Ink Over. 3-coin Lust skill. Gain coin power for every bleed on target. Fantastic. Gain slash power up next turn. Fantastic. Inflicts count on the first hit. Inflicts bleed on the second hit. A potency. Deal more damage for every negative effect on target on the third hit. Fantastic. And then it activates bleed X times on target and then reduce the blade count. So not only do you get huge damage up in this number, you also pop bleed. So she actually really wants to have like high bleed potency and also high bleed count. You want to keep counts high with her because you want to have stacks to pop with the S3. Cool, understandable. And then her defense is obviously scattering slash. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Gain protection. Nice, 1 protection layer, which reduces damage heavily. applies defense power up as well. 2 fastest allies, and is an evade. Really nice. And then if she gets hit somehow, even after scattering slash, then Heathcliff will come in with the damage. Okay, same passive as Heathcliff here, the battle ready passive. You gain slash power up, as well as battle ready if they're defeated. So on these ally defeats, you'll gain some cool little buffs. Gathering dark clouds. Combat, this is different actually. Combat start if there are 2 allied Kurokumo clan identities in participating in this encounter. Not including her. This is different, not including her. So you actually want to run her, probably Heathcliff, and one other one. You'll gain Dark Cloud Blade. Okay. Combat start, apply Dark Cloud to Kurokumo identities adjacent to this unit on the dashboard. Oh. Interesting. That is a little bit different. So it isn't just like conditional. You gotta roll a similar, you know, speed value. Okay. At X Lust Resonance, applying Dark Cloud to all of the other Kurokumos. Okay, so we gotta take a look at what these passives do as well. Cloud Workshop Blade is a support passive. When out with fast speeding, inflicts additional. I mean, she's good on the bench too. Like, I think, like, even if you don't end up using Heathcliff or Ishmael, you might, like, their passives on the bench are pretty good too. Okay, Dark Cloud Blade is what we'd expected it to be. Battle Ready as well is what we expected it to be. And is the same as Heathcliff, so we're not going to read too much into it, but it's fantastic for applying bleed and bleed count, since this Ishmael applies a ton of bleed count and will do more if you have Battle Ready up, as you can see. Okay, this is not the Dark Cloud Blade, this is Dark Cloud. She will apply Dark Cloud if there are 2 allied Kurokumos. No, sorry, apply Dark Cloud. No, this is just on combat start, apply them to adjacent units of the dashboard. So if they are moving together as a team, Kurokumos just get Dark Cloud for free. You don't even need the conditional. Cool. Turn every coin on this unit's base attack into unbreakable coins. Yeah, so it is what we saw in the trailer. The Raja and Honglu got to attack basically for free. They lost the clash and they still got the hit. This unit cannot be staggered, so you always get the unbreakable coins off. They cannot be staggered due to damage until the skill ends. So you'll always get the things off, as well as inflicts more bleed and final power increase, so it's more than 1. And then at the turn end it'll expire. So this is actually the more straightforward ID. This one, basically, she just has a bunch of damage across the board. Good bleed, application, good count application, what it seems like as well. And then also a few debuffs to synergize with Heathcliff. Actually, it turns out Heathcliff is the star of the show in this patch. This is the more straightforward ID. She just does great stuff. She has a really great passive for allied Kurokumo. And honestly, this passive, she gains Dark Cloud Blade, inflicts more bleed on slash skills. It's good, but you might not even need it per se. Overall, she doesn't really have like a necessary play pattern that you need to hit, whereas Heathcliff, you kind of do need to use your S3 if you want to gain big buffs, and if you want to maximize the damage you'll do with the rules of the backstreets, you'll want to use S3 before that. However, Ishmael kind of just functions out of the box no matter what skill you use. She's definitely the more win rate friendly button. But Heathcliff does a ton of stuff. Yeah, and he's free in the shop too. This is a really great free identity for your toolbox for bleed. And it's turning out to be really good. So yeah, overall super good. She doesn't have anything like necessarily conditionals too much, other than having more Kurokumo members on the team. Probably gonna be ex Kurokumo members. Probably had 2 additional Kurokumo members, so not including her. As you see in the trailer, that she was with Honglu and Raja, so we'll probably need to see Heathcliff and one other. Now for team comps, I guess we'll talk about team comps here. They are bleed synergy, and they could be the count applicator we need, because right now, for count application, I'm kind of running mostly like Rhino even. Sometimes I'm running Rhino Merceau. But with her, you might not need it. Right now, you could definitely see team comps running these 2 and then whatever else. So Obviously, I think a lot of people like want to run all the Blood Fiends together. I like seeing the Blood Fiends together on the same board. However, really, the two standouts in Blood Fiends actually doesn't even include Don Quixote. Well, she does bring the damage, but like anyone can do the damage, right? So the two standouts really are actually, in my opinion, for Blood Fiends are Gregor, the Priest Gregor, and the Princess Raja. Those two are the standout Blood Fiends to me, actually. And Barber and Manager Don Quixote kind of take a back seat there. They're really good. Like, don't get me wrong, they're still really good, but they're not as, like, the buffs that they provide is not as good. And also, like, yeah, the Priest is just a super standout, and the Princess is also as well. So really, really good. So you might see these two, the Ishmael and the Heathcliff, just for the 2-person buff, since Heathcliff's activates with 2 allies, including himself, to gain Dark Cloud Blade. So he doesn't have a really crazy dark conditional to gain Dark Cloud Blade. It just so happens. You might see him and Ishmael together, plus the Princess Raja, plus Priest Gregor, and then you have 2 flex slots. Probably one of them goes to Ring Yi Song, Pointless, whatever his name is, Pointless something Ring Yi Song, and then 1 other open slot for whoever you'd like. You probably might see them being run with, I don't want to say Captain Gregor. He's a little bit harder to, like, he's a little bit strange. I like the way he looks. I like the way his cloud skills really look. But you might end up using, if you need more damage, you might end up with the Ryoshu, the Rakasha Ryoshu, who does big nuke at certain bleed intervals, or you might run him with Honglu, who has a reused coin skill at certain bleed thresholds. And seeing as these characters really want bleed damage, bleed potency up to proc ink over, you really want to have high bleed count and high bleed potency to fund the bleed over, because the worst thing that could happen is you have high bleed potency and then low bleed count, you pop ink over, and then she like expunges your whole stack, which is not what you want. Yeah, overall, like, super cool. But yeah, guys, these 2 IDs really nice. And also, I mean, like, granted, I think Picard Captain and Ishmael and the Peckett First Mate, or Peckett, whatever his name is, Heathcliff, are still definitely usable as well. But I think this being a free Heathcliff, like, really makes you want to use Kurokumo. And with his free skill 1s that he gets, if an enemy attacked or dealt damage against another ally, this is not even Kurokumo. He'll just get a free skill 1 off of this, and off of this as well. I think this is going to be really good. You'll definitely see this pop up. He actually synergizes kind of really well with Priest Gregor, because you'll see if it's okay. Let's see, if the enemy killed an ally or the said ally's low HP is less than a certain amount, you'll use the rules of backstreets as well. It doesn't even say Kurokumo ally, it just says ally. And so you'll see Priest Gregor, who likes to sit at 0 HP, that character always wants to be really low. And so actually and he also gains aggro for himself. You'll see probably him and Gregor sitting together. So there's probably no chance you're running Kurokumo Captain Gregor, because I think Priest Gregor just really does his job better. And they kind of double dip. The Captain Gregor for Kurokumo and this Heathcliff kind of double dip for debuffs as well, so you won't need them together. I think a solid, you know, kind of example team would be like Ishmael, the Kurokumo Ishmael, Kurokumo Heath, Princess Raja, Priest Gregor, Pointless Isong, and then 1 flex slot. You could run a second Kurokumo, or third Kurokumo, I mean, or you could run like Manager Dawn, or you could run even someone like the Ego Ryoshu from Walpurgis Night. Overall, like, super cool. Yeah, these guys are super solid. But let me know what you guys think in the comments as well. If I miss anything, or like, you know, if anything you want to say, let me know as well in the comments below. Hopefully it helps you. I do like this style as well, and we might just do like a guide video or like a should you pull video at the end once we can see the values. But I mean, Heathcliff is free, so we're only gonna probably do the video for Ishmael. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Peace. Late.